Well, we're just coming out of Bembridge Harbour here, which is one of the least well-known ports on the Isle of Wight. I don't know why that should be, really. Probably because it's got a drying entrance, or very nearly drying entrance, and a very shallow channel which is heavily tidal to get in. But actually there's no problem with it at all. I'm in 3.7 metres of water here. We're drawing 2.1 metres and it's 20 minutes past 3. There's over an hour to go before high water yet, so there's plenty of water, and it's a great little harbour. I just love it. It's perfectly sheltered. It's been here since Roman times. In fact, at one time it was one of the most important harbours on the Isle of Wight. They reckon it's silted up, but I don't know that it has. I can imagine the Romans coming in here on the tide, just like we've been doing today. And we're coming out now, bound towards Portsmouth, which is about 7 or 8 miles away, over on the mainland. The great thing about this harbour is it's got lovely little villages attached to it. The harbour itself is incredibly well run these days, and the villages are fantastic. Foreign visitors in yachts should come here because the little shops up in the town are fantastic. I have just had the best pork pie that I've had for many a long day. And the pork pie is the essence of British. It's what really matters. It's what makes us what we are. And the poor old French, they come over here, and I don't know what they get to eat. I dread to think. But if they had a pork pie like that, they would realise what it was like to be British. I expect the Dutch like them too. So, town's lovely. Lots of great restaurants. Smashing place. But the history is really fascinating. I'm just swinging around the dog leg here. I'm on the bar and I've got 3.5 metres, so I've got 4 foot under me. That'll do nicely. Thank you very much. Nelson used to bring his warships here to water up, because for some reason the water here is incredibly pure. They could fill their great big barrels with that, put them down in the bilge of the ship, and they would stay fresh for years if necessary, which was something you couldn't say for a lot of the water, certainly not the water from Portsmouth. So over they came, filled up, and they sailed from here to Trafalgar to beat up the combined fleets of the French and the Spanish in 1805. So that was the water. Earlier than that, the French made a couple of attempts to, well, sack the place and land and do Britain a serious mischief, as is traditional. They've been doing it forever. They tried it in the 14th century and were chucked out. And in the 16th century, 1540, they actually anchored in the roads here and were doing all right, until the Royal Navy tried to get out of Portsmouth, and they couldn't. They were pinned in by the wind, but somehow they got the Mary Rose out, which was the flagship, Henry VIII's own ship. Out she came and promptly capsized and was lost with nearly all hands. A shocking incident, and of course she's been dredged up now and is there, available for all to see, a national monument. I'm just peering around here to see what I can see in the way of buoys. Yeah, we're in a dogleg here. We've got a big swing to starboard, and then we're out towards the fort and deep water. So, round we go. There's another very interesting thing that we have to have a look at before we go, and it's right behind Ros at the moment because she's taking a picture of the channel. I don't know whether you'll be able to see the buoys, but they're worth a look. In the distance there is St Helens Fort, which was built by Palmerston to keep the French out in the middle of the 19th century. But he was too late because the French had given up the ghost then. We've been pals since then, us and the French, and we've seen a bit of action together on the forces of light and decency. But over here we've got that big white monument. Now what on earth is that? I'll tell you what that is. That is the remains of an ancient church which fell into the sea round about, God, I'm not exactly sure when it was. I think it was early in the 18th century. It fell down and it was built of very soft, very nicely dressed sandstone, and instead of doing what people usually do, which is lug the stone away and build yourself a house with it, the locals started cutting it up into nice little brick-sized pieces and flogging it off to the navies of the world to scrub their decks with. That is the original holy stone, coming from the Holy Church at Bembridge. So there you go. You learn something every day, don't you? I found that out this week, and I'm off to sea now, so I'm going to fire on a few more revs, get out here and then make some sail. Well, what a spot. I'll see you next time.